Hello everybody, welcome to the first episode of Low Action, a video blog about all things guitar, bass, pedals, amps. I am a self-proclaimed gearhead and a clinically diagnosed guitar hoarder. So we're going to get into specific guitars, telling their stories and kind of doing reviews on the equipment, but it's mostly going to be my opinion. It's my show. In this first episode, we're going to talk about parts casters. Are they taboo? Are they custom guitars? Are they cool? Are they crap? We're going to get into my parts caster. This guy right here. I'm going to give you the history of it, to tell its story. We'll go over the specs, what I did to it, and what I think about it. But first, before we get into that, the history of the guitar. So when my daughter was younger, she was really into Avril Lavigne, and she was interested in learning how to play guitar. So I went to the local music store and I bought the Squier Avril Lavigne Signature Telecaster. Kind of an interesting guitar. It had a single humbucker at the bridge with a three-way switch. In the middle position was the full humbucker, and then you had single coil, so you can get some different tones out of it. It's kind of a neat guitar and a lot different from your standard Telecaster you find hanging on the walls of your local music stores. So she played it for a little while, and then she kind of, like most kids, she gave up on it. So she calls me up and she says, "Dad, not really using this guitar. Do you want it?" And I said, "What am I going to do with an Avril Lavigne Telecaster?" And then I thought about it, and I was like, I want the body. I'm going to build a parts caster. So I got the guitar, took it apart, took the neck off of it, sold the neck and tuners on eBay, sold the pickguard on eBay, and had this black body. Put an all parts. I ordered a neck from All Parts, put an all parts neck on it. Got some Fender Kluson vintage style tuners. I bought a Seymour Duncan Antiquity neck pickup and put that in the bridge. Now I used a neck pickup because I was running a 500K pot, and it was wired directly to the volume pot. There was no tone circuitry on this guitar whatsoever, and I didn't want it to be too hot. I still wanted to kind of retain some of that old school Tele charm. So yeah, I put this Seymour Duncan Antiquity pickup in there. I got a Wilkinson half Tele bridge that you can see here, and wired it up and played it. In fact, it's the guitar that I am playing in the opening credits of this video, is that black Esquire. Never recorded with it. I did play a few gigs with it. This is me playing the guitar with Rambler 454 at the Burn the Boat Music Festival a couple years ago. So I had this guitar, and it was really kind of limiting me as to what I can do with this guitar. It had an amazing neck on it. I love the way the neck felt, love the way it played, but I didn't really play it that often because it was a single humbucker at the bridge, and then kind of limits your tonal capabilities. So I thought, okay, always searching for new guitars. I've always wanted, always been a fan of Andy Summers from The Police, and I've always wanted a double bound Telecaster, custom Telecaster, but they're $20,000. So just searching around for parts casters, pieces and parts or whatever, I decided I'm going to try to put one together. I came across this body. This is actually a Squier 60s classic vibe body. And a lot of people don't know this, but they're sold as single coil pickup, lipstick pickup at the neck here. But if you lift the pickguard up, these bodies from the factory are routed for humbuckers. So I found this body on eBay. This guy was selling it fully loaded with 60s American vintage Telecaster pickups, a Fender bridge, CTS pots, orange caps, all this upgrades. So I bought the body and took it home, and I took all of these upgrades this guy meticulously put in this guitar and ripped them all out. I gave the pickups to a friend of mine that I play in a band with, and I think I kept the bridge. This is still the Fender bridge. The rest of the stuff I just tossed. What I did on this guitar is I took this all parts neck from the black guitar, put it on this guitar. Same tuners. I took the PAF humbucker out of the bridge of the black guitar, and that's this right here. This is the Seymour Duncan Antiquity PAF humbucker. It still has the same Fender bridge. I did put a Seymour Duncan Hot Rail Tele pickup in the bridge position and wired it all up. Now the electronics in this guitar are a little neat. This guitar is kind of a beast. So this guitar, we have a 500K volume pot and a 250K no-load tone control. Now that means when you have this tone all the way up, it locks into a position, and that cuts out all tone circuitry whatsoever. If you just pull it out of that little lock and go to like 9 there on my knob, now it's a regular tone switch. Now with humbuckers, you normally want a 500K pot. You normally see 500K pot. A little higher output. For single coils, you normally use 250K. Well, I have one of each type of pickup. So I went with the 250K no-load tone control because I enjoy these tone controls. I love them. I have them on every single one of my Telecasters. But I went with a 500K pot to kind of keep the clarity of the PAF humbucker. The 500K pot going into a bridge single coil that's already a hot Tele would be like someone shoving ice picks in your ear. So when I'm in that bridge position, I kind of have to take this no-load tone control and kick it back and kick the tone down a hair. Then it starts to sound like a standard Telecaster. When I'm in the middle position or the humbucker, the neck position, I cut out all the tone circuitry with the no-load tone control, and I run with the 500K volume pot. I personally don't use tone, so it doesn't matter to me. It's just something you have to see on the guitar. Now with these amplifier knobs on a standard Tele control plate, these amplifier knobs are so large you'll hit the pickup selector or the screw holding the pickup selector in. So what this plate is, this is a Rudders 3/8 inch over plate, which means they cut a Tele plate, and when they drilled these holes, they moved them over 3/8 of an inch. So you can use these amplifier knobs without hitting your screw or your pickup selector. So I added the ashtray cover to give it that 60s vintage look. Now this decal, it says Fender Custom Telecaster on the headstock there. That's just a water slide decal that I added myself. So this is my parts caster. I love looking at this guitar. I have vintage Teles. I have American Teles. I have Teles with beat benders. I've had Teles with Filtertron pickups. This is always my go-to guitar. I just like the way it feels. I like the way it plays. The neck is perfect for me. The sound, not so much. This guitar does a lot better in my Dr. Z than it does in my Deluxe Reverb. But you're going to have that. Some guitars don't always play well with every amp. My American channel bound Tele has custom shop pickups. Sounds great through a Deluxe Reverb. Not as good through the Dr. Z. But, you know, you're going to have that. But mainly just practicing at home, I grabbed this guitar. Does it matter that it's a square body? Not one bit. Do tone woods actually help the tone of your guitar? Does more expensive wood, more expensive bodies actually affect the tone of your guitar? Maybe, if you're not plugged into an amp or just plugged directly in. But if I were to gig with this, I'm plugging into 15 pedals. I'm plugging into a pedal board. So it doesn't matter. You're never going to hear the difference. You know, an acoustic instrument, yes, tone woods matter. An electric instrument, not so much. So, you know, I don't care if that it's a Squier body and an all parts neck and it wasn't handmade, because all you're going to hear anyways is an ego compressor, a TS9 tube screamer, a little delay, and a deluxe reverb. Your pickups are going to have more to do with the sound than the wood of the body. So to me, if you have an idea, parts caster, and you want to put something together, go for it. It's cool. They're fun, and it doesn't really matter, if you want to be a purist, that's fine too, but really nobody is going to know the difference. So let's take a listen, and I got some sound samples of this guitar. I will be plugging it into a deluxe reverb amp, and I will give you 3 samples, all 3 pickup selections, clean and dirty. The dirty sounds will be with a stock TS9 tube screamer. No modifications. This is the $99 pedal right out of the box, the way it was meant to be. All right, let's take a listen. So that was my parts caster. And that brings us to the end of episode number 1 of Low Action. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're on Facebook, please like, please share, spread the word. I'd really like to get this thing going off the ground. I'd like to get some other guitars in here. And I'd like to talk shop with other gearheads such as myself. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.